Today we're going to clear up some confusion on the astrological sign of Libra and correct some preconceptions that people have about it using the wisdom available through Vedic astrology. So, to start off, for the basis of what I'm about to say, let's look at the fact that the planet that actually exalts in Libra is not Venus, even though it's its domicile, it's Saturn. So yes, Venus is at home in Libra, but the planet that really gets full strength in Libra is Saturn. These two planets are friends. Another fact that's going to be important later. But what does Saturn represent? It represents the spiritual side of life. Imagine an old sage, because Saturn represents old age past age 70. So it's someone who has already had their biggest accomplishment in life. In most cases, although there are charts where that can differ. And someone who embraces more so the deeper side of life and knows how to let go. Saturn's key theme is renunciation. It's the removal of excess, it's the reorganizing of what's there. It's being able to give up on what's not needed. And it's accepting endings and the impermanence of life. Yet people cling to that ideal that Libra is this ultra-romantic sign. Venus actually exalts in the sign of Pisces. Why? Even though Pisces is a Jupiterian sign. Because Pisces is the sign of God's universal transcendent love. It's the sign of the ultimate connectivity. So when you have Venus in Pisces, through your friendships, partnerships, because Venus is not just romantic, but it's anything that adds to your life through the external world. Through any addition that you have in your life, whether that be an object or a person, a partner, family member, friend, someone dear to you, someone valuable to you, you experience more of God's love. So God's love comes to you through the love you experience on earth. And that's beautiful, because it gives you this almost unrealistic level like acceptance of their flaws, because you think, hey, you know, maybe my ex-husband was an alcoholic, but hey, he was still a gift from God, right? That's why you have this trope that people with Venus in Pisces attract abusive partners, which is not always true, by the way. Depends on the chart, but that's because with Venus in Pisces you have this understanding and acceptance and that optimism, because Pisces is a sign of Jupiter, that anything that comes to you in life physically really is God's gift to you. And when you think about harmony in relationships, with Jupiter also representing families, well, you want the Venetian themes of partnership to ultimately lead to a creation of what feels like the spiritual family haven on earth, right? So you want this kind of placement because you want to be able to forgive even the highest level of pain, so you can transmute it and have faith that something better is coming for you. But Libra really is the sign of fairness, strictness, and boundaries. To an extent, Libra is a sign that knows how to be both with people and alone, because Saturn as a planet likes to do things by themselves and likes to work around people on its own, which is why it can often end up having control over situations, because Saturn is its own boss. And again, Saturn exalts in Libra for a reason. If you look at popular culture, there are a lot of movies out there that embrace the subject of women being needy or clingy, not because the relationship is good or because they really care about their partners or that they benefit from it, but because these are people that are always with someone. And here we're talking specifically about people with Libra Sun. There is a movie that has the title I forgot right now, which stars Dakota Johnson, a Libra Sun, where she ends up having this string of men trying to always get attached to somebody. But at the end she realizes that she does not want it anymore, and you find her finding peace, traveling alone in nature. Again, a very Venusian Saturnian theme, connecting to nature. Now, that doesn't mean that you abandon all friendships and all ideas of having a relationship. It means that you first have something centered within yourself, through your connection to to nature, to something deeper, through that internal balance. And that in turn actually makes you a master of connections, because if you approach people from a space of neediness, from a space of, oh, I need something from that person, to an extent that you end up hanging on them. Mind you, that's different from having actual healthy relationship needs. That's normal, we all have them. But if you end up hanging on somebody for dear life and you think, oh, I can't live without them, in such a way that you impede their own functioning, well, then the love is not going to flourish, because real love can't really flourish if it doesn't involve both parties' best interests. Real love is symbiotic. It's mutually nourishing. And that is so important in the context of having healthy boundaries, which again is Saturn. And these healthy boundaries should be what? They should be fair and logical, which is Libra. And also it's necessary to be able to have a healthy compromise, as in, if the two of you can't agree, let's say, on a restaurant that day, you can say, hey, we're just gonna both get takeout from different places because we don't feel like going to the same place, and that's fine. And that's not going to be the deal breaker for our relationship. That's why Saturn and Libra knows how to make things last, because it knows how to solve and back off in certain situations, because it knows that arguing for the sake of a stupid detail is not worth the long-term potential, the long-term investment of something that you would want to be a really valuable relationship. Seeing the example that I used, when two people can't agree on the restaurant choice, so they both get their own takeout, do you see the element of aloneness and togetherness? The togetherness is that they decided that they are going to, they both decided unanimously that they're going to order something separately, but they both did something for themselves. And in this moment, that decision probably saved them a fight. Why? Because neither of them really had to do something that would hurt the other. And if you keep really hurting yourself, like in a way that you self-efface your needs and desires for the sake of your partner, if you pretend everything's fine when it's not, over time that builds up resentment, big time. And that actually is detrimental to a relationship, because then you end up walking away over all those unspoken things that talk about needs that you never got. Meanwhile, with a good Saturn in Libra, you are able to fairly assess, okay, there is this one particular need that we need to fulfill in our own different ways, but it doesn't mean that we can't agree on it together. So you can see how really doing that, how having some privacy, some separate space in togetherness really is an element of togetherness, because that means that you love the other person together with their connection to God. And sometimes to reconnect to God, you have to just sit there and turn off all the other stimuli and be there just with yourself and the universe. And real love involves that. It involves the understanding, and the person knows that you're still there for them. So really perfectly would like to have both Venus in Pisces and Saturn in Libra, because then not only you connect to God together as partners through your Venus, but also you know how to give each other space to connect to God alone. Or even for your partner to just have a hobby that you don't like, and you understand that it makes them happy. And this is actually what makes things be worthwhile, be durable, and last, which is why Saturn is the sign of, Saturn is the planet of lasting, of things lasting, because you know how to accept the other person despite your differences. You know how to give them their aloneness, and you like your own, to the point that sometimes you can be alone but still be together.